for that. And also in conjunction with the 313th Fiesta, this is also the 400th anniversary of Nuestra Señora de la Paz when she was brought here in 1625 by Fray Alonso de Benavides. And the fact that we have the oldest Marian statue in Santa Fe housed at the cathedral is something unique and a treasure that all of us hold dear. Part of the history, of course, most of you know, is that there is the promise that was made by Don Diego de Vargas to Nuestra Señora for a peaceful re-entry into the city in 1692. And so those are all of the reasons why we continue to strive to preserve our annual fiestas every year. But of course, it's more than that. It's a living tradition about faith, resilience, and community. For over 300 years, families, friends, the faithful have gathered and they honor to promise to follow through with the promise made. We pray, we dance, and we remember. For many of us, including myself, this is a personal respect and honor to our ancestors, and of course, our identify as Santa Fecinos. Of course, most of you all know Our Lady. As I stated, she is the oldest Marian statue in the United States. We invite you to join us beginning tomorrow. Will be the first Novena Mass at the Cathedral Basilica. It will be at 11 a.m., followed by the knighting and coronation of our Don Diego de Vargas y la Reina de la Fiesta de Santa Fe, and the royalty, as well as the cuadrilla. And then we will do the procession. How many of you have participated in the procession before? All right, all of you. So we're gonna see all of you there, right? Bring out your umbrellas, because it is warm. But yeah, and from my understanding, because of construction, we actually are gonna be going through Griffin Street, which I understand was one of the old routes to go to Rosario. So it's fitting that for our 400th anniversary, we're gonna be able to literally retrace our ancestors' footsteps in honor of her. So of course, in 1625, Fray Alonso de Benavides brought Our Lady. She is housed at the cathedral, and she became the patron of the Cofradía of Rosario, offering spiritual protection for people of New Mexico. Her presence is a symbolized hope during a time of conquest or conversion. I mean, all of us turn to Our Lady whenever something's going on, right? Or at least we hope so. As you know, history-wise, in 1680, there was the Pueblo Revolt, and during that time when the cathedral was, they went to the cathedral, Doña Josefa Lopez Zambrana de Grijalva, of course, rescued Our Lady from the cathedral. So people all through the years have taken the time out of their devotion and love for Our Lady to save her. Most of you know, do recall when Our Lady was taken from the cathedral and she was stolen? And remember where they found her? Socorro? It was like in the mountains of Socorro. Was it the mountain? Yeah, it's been a while. But that tells you her resilience. And you know, again, I'm not here just to push specifically about Our Lady, but she holds a very significant to me. When my grandpa was diagnosed with cancer, she was the first person that I went, and I say person, she is a statue, but she is the first that I went to see and speak with. And then he was in remission for about 7 years. Then my uncle, when I ran for Reina in 2012, he had been diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he had been in the hospital since January of that year. And he was able to make it to my coronation as a princesa that year, thanks to Our Lady and of course God. So I have a lot of devotion and love for Our Lady. I get very emotional when I talk about her, but she's just beautiful and she means a lot to us. So yeah, in 1692, she's just powerful. In 1692, of course, you know, we all understand the reason for Don Diego de Vargas and the commemoration of the promise made. When he was encamped, he was over at Rosario Chapel, if most of people don't know. A lot of people, when you attend our pregón in September or for our annual fiesta, we typically serve hot chocolate and bizcochitos. And what that's in commemoration of is when the Spaniards came, they had cacao seeds, which they were able to turn into chocolate, which therefore was cocoa. So that's the representation of why we serve bizcochitos and hot chocolate at the pregón mass. And So after there was the peaceful resettlement, later in 1712, Governor Marquez de Peñuela signed the official proclamation that established the annual celebration that we celebrate today. Fiesta today includes powerful spiritual and cultural rituals. Knighting and coronation of La Reina y Don Diego takes place typically in June or July, followed by 9-day novena mass to Our Lady, and then of course we have our solemn processions. Does anybody know the proclamation, what our proclamation says, how we honor Our Lady? We honor them with specific things. Anybody want to say one of them? Looking at you, Victor. Vespers is one. Mass is another. Procession is another. And
Vespers, solemn procession.
And service. Yes.
Vespers is solemn procession.
Yeah. So you know, we're living true to that tradition. I mean, here we are 313 years later, and we're still commemorating these wonderful events that aspired in our city. And I truly honor all of you here that are keeping the voices alive within our city. Without you guys spreading the word of what Santa Fe is, who we are as a people, who we are as a community, we wouldn't be able to carry on these traditions. So I do encourage, and I am hopeful seeing younger individuals here representing to continue on those traditions. But I want to give credit to those of you who obviously established all of this before us, because without your hard work, I wouldn't be standing up here today. So give yourselves a round of applause for making this possible for all of us. We want to make sure to remind everyone, of course, in addition to the procession that will be scheduled tomorrow following the knighting and coronation, the novena mass will start at 6 a.m. on Monday at Rosario Chapel. It will run all the way until July the 6th. Then following that, we are going to have a return procession on Sunday, July 6th, but with the 400th and everything, they are going to be doing it in the morning. So following Mass, you'll go to Mass at 6 a.m. at Rosario next Sunday. After the Mass at 7:30, they are going to process back to the cathedral. It's something new. I know it might be a little wild for some because it's like, wait, what? We're not doing it in the afternoon. But the thought is they want to process with Our Lady right after Mass, once the sun has come up. Everybody that's been to the Rosario Masses, you know how peaceful it feels to leave the Mass. It's crisp air. So we're going to walk her back to the cathedral, and then they're going to have light refreshments in the garden, and they're going to have Our Lady available for people to be able to walk up and see her in all her honor. So I just wanted to make sure people knew about that. So share that with your friends, that the return procession will be at following the 6 a.m. Mass next Sunday. Other things, some people have mentioned that they were interested in having evening masses. And so for the evening masses this year for Novena, there will be 2 evening masses at 5:15. That will be on Tuesday, July the 1st, and Thursday, July the 3rd. So again, if you can't make a morning Novena Mass, there will be an evening Novena Mass available for those that want to be there. Also, the final Novena Mass will be on Monday, July the 7th, and that will be at the Cathedral Basilica. And then, of course, following that, our court and quadrilla, which I have to thank them, our group will be going to all the community fiestas in Española, Las Vegas, Taos, what have you, and then it will come around into Santa Fe, and our annual fiesta will begin August the 30th until September the 7th. So we encourage you to join us, be a part of us. You're our gente, we're your gente. We want to be with you, we want to celebrate with you. If you want more information, you can visit santafefiesta.org. We are social media savvy, so we have a Fiesta Book Facebook page. It's Fiesta Book. Santa Fe Fiesta Facebook, and we also have an Instagram. And then Nuestra Señora de la Paz has their own Facebook with all of their upcoming events. Oh, hello, the wardrobe display. So it was just announced yesterday that there will be a wardrobe display held in honor of Our Lady at the Santa Fe Community Convention Center. It's going to be July 18th through July 20th. Tickets are now on sale at holdmyticket.com. Tickets are $15 for children under the age of 13 and $25 for adults. So please, there's going to be over 135 of her garments, her crowns, hair that's been donated. All of these gifts have either been given in prayer, in the silence of prayers, in people's woes, their worries. I've donated outfits many times in my worries for my family and things that have come my way. And so I encourage everyone to come out, celebrate Our Lady, honor Our Lady, because whenever we need her, she has no problem being there for us. Now it's time for us to be there for her. And yes, so for the wardrobe display, it's July 18th through the 20th. And tickets are available at holdmyticket.com. So with that, que viva la fiesta. Does anybody have any questions for me? No questions? All right, did my job. I gave my information. If you need, I gave a lot of dates. So if you need any more dates, Maria has my contact information. I have no problem anybody reaching out to me. You can call me, you can email me, you can Facebook me, however you want to get a hold of me. I'm happy to share my information. So without further ado, I am gonna call up and introduce our 2025 Don Diego de Vargas, and that is Joseph Christopher JC Linson de Quintana.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I really appreciate you, and I am honored to be here in front of you all to talk to you about Voces de Santa Fe 2025. My name's J.C. Linson. I am from Santa Fe. My parents are from here. My grandparents are from here. I'm not one of those guys who can say my family's been here for 20 generations, but I know we've been here a while. So when I was asked to do this year, I wasn't sure what I was taking on, and it's a lot more than I thought. But it's a lot more in the way that it's the good. It's more good than I imagined. What I'm getting out of it is making me a better person. That's what I told myself was my goal when I started. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this. I wasn't sure of the whole thing, but I'm learning the history. And my favorite part about this whole ride with this is the learning the history and getting out and meeting all the people that I'm meeting and hearing everybody's stories and understanding of their love for Santa Fe and their appreciation of being here. And it's really an honor for me to hear and meet people for that. And learning this history is kind of wild because I didn't know much about fiestas or this history of Santa Fe as much as I do now, obviously. But it's kind of a wild ride, and I really am learning a lot, and I'm learning perspectives, and that's what I'm trying to get out to do is learn to talk to people, or trying to talk to people and learning everyone's perspective on this, not just hearing one side or one perspective on that. And it's really helpful to me to be able to connect with people as I talk about this and go with it, because I want to make sure that everyone understands. And when I do this, I'm telling you, I'm talking to historians, I'm talking to people that I know that have lived here for a long time. I'm talking to people that have just moved here and what their appreciation for it is. And what I've learned for these hundreds of years, Santa Fe is such a special place, and everybody wants to be here. And everybody's fought to be here. And everybody is here now, and we're all living together with the same struggles and same lives, or similar lives, not exactly the same, but similar. And learning to be together is really nice for me to see, because it's a different world, different time, but I'm really trying to embrace this and make it more inclusive than I've seen it before. And I hope that you guys join us for Fiestas this year, because this is a big year, as Crystal was saying before, and we really want to see you there. Thank you all very much, and hope to see you soon. I almost forgot. I'm going to introduce La Reina, Caitlin, Lujan, y Medina now, and I'm going to go out that door now because I got to get somewhere. So thank you.
Can you hear me? Buenas tardes todos. Me llamo Caitlin Rose Lujan y Medina. It's a gran honor, it's a great honor to be here with you all today, and thank you so much for inviting us. This is a little too short for me. Is this better? It is so special to be here today. I have been in fiestas or participating in the procession since I was young. Growing up, my grandma would always pick up me and my 4 sisters and take us all to the processions, young, dressed, and ready to go. And growing up, my mom, she also participated and took on the Fiesta Council. And so through that, we have just been flowing and drowning in fiestas, and it has been such an amazing time. I am so excited for fiestas this year, especially for the 400th year anniversary of Our Lady. It is so special to do that, and all of the festivities and celebrations to come to celebrate her. Oh my gosh, July 18th, those dresses and to see all those crowns and all of her wardrobe is gonna be so beautiful and amazing. And we hope to see every single one of you guys there. Fiestas this year, like Crystal mentioned, it will begin August 30th through September 7th. And the novenas as well, starting tomorrow. I know they are early, starting Monday, very early, but oh, are they so beautiful. It's so worth it. You walk out, the crisp air just breathing on you, and you're just blessed for the whole day. It is such a beautiful, awesome moment. And we hope to see you all there. Thank you all again.
Now we would like to invite our Native American princes representing the Pueblo of Okewenge, Miss Miranda and Caitlin Lujan.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry. Caitlin's a little bit taller than I am, but I'm Miranda Lujan, and this is my little sister, Caitlin, and we're this year's Native American princesses. We're very honored to be here in front of all of you guys today, representing our Pueblo, and we are so honored to do this and experience it together as sisters. This experience has been definitely really rewarding, not just for ourselves, but just to bring it back to our family and to be with our family. Caitlin's also our family, Caitlin Lorena. Yeah, so we're excited to be here today and, and representing our Pueblo of Okewenge.
Microphones. It never. Is this okay? Can you hear me? Before I introduce our next group, this is where I'm going to get teary-eyed. But as we stated, when Voces first got started, we didn't even have the name Voces. And like I said before, there were like just 5 of us, and then we grew to 20. And now, as Jim says, we have almost 3,000 people that are part of our Voces group. And whenever we get together like this, depending on the event, I can't help but remember some of our bosses that we had lost, who were very key and members of our group when we first got started. And one is Connie Hernandez, a Santa Fe living treasure. She was one of our first bosses people. And Crystal, as you know, she was very much involved with La Conquistadora. So I need to acknowledge and remember her, and we love her.
One of my favorite photos is of her carrying Our Lady.
Yeah.
And the other ladies, I have that photo.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why she became a Santa Fe living treasure. I was a member of that committee, so I was honored to have her, I was happy to have her honored that way too. And the other person, I went to this table, and over here there's the bar table. There's members of the Santa Fe Fiesta Council, right?
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Another this is where I will really get emotional. Key person that we loved, that we lost, that was with us at the beginning of Voces is Pat Casey, who was a member of the Fiesta Council. His wife Gail, also. So it's important to remember those who helped us get to where we are today. So for our next group of 5 speakers, this sort of evolved sort of accidentally as you guys were signing up. We started to realize that some of you had been past members of the Fiesta Court, people over here. And so, and I talked to Michael Garcia too at another Voces event that you're part of Los Caballeros. And then we have the wonderful Doug Nava over here, a Santero artist. And Doug, there's so, you know, I read a little bit about you. I went to Google and I Googled you.
It's all fake.
No, it was all wonderful. We're actually meeting for the first time. I feel we've been friends for a long time, but we're meeting in person for the first time. And I know that he's an amazing Santero artist. And 2 things that one was, well, your devotion to the Conquistadora. And the other thing was your devotion to the younger artists, that you really enjoy your help and mentoring the younger artists. So I'm going to mention the 5 people that are going to be speaking, and then I'm going to get off. So if you remember the order here, that's how you will come up to speak. So first it will be Michael Garcia. We'll be talking about Los Caballeros. Elizabeth Davidson Arellano. She was our Fiesta Queen in 1989. Roseanne Shreve was the Fiesta Princess in 1989. Diana Alvarez was our Fiesta Queen in 1975. And then we will end our guest speakers with the wonderful Doug Nava, who has some show and tell also. So first Michael, then Elizabeth, then Roseanne, then Diana, and then Doug.
Buenas tardes, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Michael Garcia, Mike Garcia, and to give you some history around the Caballeros, I gotta really lay the foundation of what led me to be a member of that organization. And so I grew up in a family that was very involved in the fiestas. My grandmother, Pita Gonzalez, was a Fiesta Queen in 1943. And that was a very unique year. During that year, just for example, Zozobra was actually dressed up as 3 different fascists at that time: Hitler, Mussolini, and Hirohito. So they made Zozobra look like somebody that, you know, we were at war with, and they wanted to dismiss him. And so that was always kind of a living legend in our family. Excuse me, my voice is, I've been screaming all morning at the Pride Parade. And fast forward, my great uncle, Gonzo Gonzalez, he was a caballero. So growing up, it was one of those family tradition things where once you were at age, you participated. And so I believe it was 2010 when I actually was part of the quadrilla. Went through, I was a young adult at the time, and I was one of the soldados for one of my good friends growing up. And so part of the tradition was you had to be in the quadrilla at the time and participate in the entrada to actually become a caballero. It's since changed because the entrada has been retired. But I figured this was a great opportunity to participate, as well as continue that legacy and tradition, as well as have that opportunity to be a caballero. I didn't know at the time if I was going to do it. I was living in Albuquerque, and as many folks know, the Caballeros are heavily involved here in the Santa Fe area. But when I moved back to Santa Fe in 2012, that was one of the first things I did, was I figured out how I became involved in the process. And it's actually a pretty long process, or at least it was at the time. You had to first kind of get sworn in, and then you had to, it was on a point system. You had to attend so many events, participate so much before you kind of gained that level, and then you got your full medallion. And thankfully, by the grace of Our Lady, was able to do that, and participated heavily, I think, until I took on the role as a city councilor. And then, as folks probably know, taking on a governmental life like that, my life gets pulled in many different directions, and I didn't want to dishonor Our Lady in any means. I still go to the novenas. I mean, I do a lot of stuff. I see a lot of my Fiesta family here. But it's one of those things, as Crystal had mentioned, she's with us always. She helps guide us. And so, how many folks actually, well, just by a show of hands, because I don't want to be redundant, know what the Caballeros are, and what they do, and how involved in their community? So about half and half. So Caballeros, they are an organization that formed in I believe 1956. They are the honor guard of Our Lady. They are the folks that you will see flanked us alongside her during the processions. They are the gentlemen you will see flanked alongside her when they do the mass visitations or any other visitations where Our Lady is at. They not only do work to honor Our Lady, but they also do community events such as the Tres Reyes Magos. How many folks have been to a Tres Reyes Magos play? Not many, so that means you all better see you all in January. So it's a play put on by the Caballeros. It's free of charge.
First Saturday in January.
First Saturday in January, and it's about the Three Kings, and it's in Spanish. So it's one of those community traditions that really honors tradition and its utmost respect by being all in Spanish. And they also do additional events like food drives every Christmas and Thanksgiving. They do food boxes. What else, Doug? Help me.
They're the official carriers of Our Lady.
They're the official carriers, and they weren't
honor
always
guard.
the official carriers,
And
right?
honor guard to the Archbishop.
And the honor guard to the Archbishop. Prior to the Caballeros being formed, it was an all-women honor guard that protected Our Lady. And in the 1950s is when they formed. And they're the gentlemen you'll see wearing the white silk shirts with the red ribbon sash and black pants and gold medallions. And they're usually at every prominent mass at the cathedral. The cathedral is their home site, so to speak. You'll see them at Christmas Eve Mass, you'll see them at Easter Vigil Mass, you'll see them in a lot of places. They now, instead of hosting the Entrada, they host the community celebration event on Fiesta Friday, where they honor and recognize 2 individuals who continue the honor, legacy, and tradition of culture in our communities. What else might I be missing? So they're you see these gentlemen, and it's I think it's one of those honors I've had in my life where you really get to see firsthand what it means to take care of Our Lady, because they're there sometimes when she's getting dressed, when they're dressing her in one of her magnificent wardrobes. They're there when they're protecting her, during the Fiesta Visitation Masses, or several of the, like Las Golondrinas has their masses when they're blessing the fields. They'll take the Pellegrina. Maybe that's it. We haven't talked to the Pellegrina. So we have Our Lady, Nuestra Señora de la Paz, la Conquistadora. That's the statue that Crystal was talking about. But we also have their sister statue, the Pellegrina, that goes out to the mass, to outside of the church any other time besides the novenas. So there's a big difference. I want folks to realize.
She was created in 1933.
So
She's
Chris,
a traveling.
So 1933, the Pellegrina was created. She's a traveling one. The only time Our Lady really comes out of the mass, out of the cathedral, is for the novenas. That's it. Any other time you see that statue, it's the Pellegrina. Yes.
Who makes her clothes?
Everybody. So you have seamstresses from throughout the community that will help to make her clothes. Sometimes they're made from past DeVargas's uniforms. Sometimes they're made from people's wedding dresses. Sometimes they're just made out of fabrics that people have made. But maybe Crystal, over 300 dresses.
So she has over 300 garments, but also a lot of people can, in prayer and petition, like I've donated an outfit to her as the president. Victor, who also is a past president, they have donated outfits to her. So pretty much anybody can donate an outfit. And I did forget to mention that part of raising money for Our Lady's events, if anybody is interested in sponsoring a garment, or if you've ever had a garment made for Our Lady and you want to have that garment displayed at the event showcase in July, you can sponsor, because it's a fundraiser, of course, but you can contact us by either emailing ourlady1625@gmail.com, or you can talk to me after this event and I can get your information to the right people.
Crystal, I know about at least 3 people here that really, because they're not from here originally, they don't really know who Our Lady is. Can you just tell them about 30 seconds?
Sure. So everybody can hear me? I'm pretty loud. Okay.
So for those that don't know, we refer to her as Our Lady. She has multiple titles. She, as I stated, she's the oldest Marian statue that's housed at the Cathedral Basilica. So she was brought here in 1625 by Fray Alonso de Benavides. She actually may be even older than that. They believe that when she was made in Spain, I mean, the marks of the wood indicate it's from olive wood. That indicates that she may have been many years prior to coming to New Mexico. So she is a Marian figure. She stands at 29 inches, but she's been in our city for over 400 years, and that's what makes it truly unique. And a lot of people honor her. Some of her titles is Nuestra Señora del Rosario, Nuestra Señora de la Paz, and those are Our Lady of Peace, Our Lady of the Rosary. There's Nuestra Señora de Concepción. Many, many titles. Also, the name La Conquistadora, that is a name that was given to her lovingly by Archbishop Sanchez. However, that is who we're referring to when we say Our Lady. It's our Blessed Mother, and it's our statue that we've had for over 400 years.
Miguel,
Yes.
how does one become a member of the Caballeros?
So you reach out to the organization. So as I mentioned, historically, an individual had to participate in what was called the Entrada. That was the reenactment of the resettlement of Santa Fe. And because that pageantry has been retired, you essentially approach the organization, and there still is that process where you kind of like get initiated, not in a bad sense. And you have to commit to the organization, and then you have to, you're not an official caballero until you attend so many events. It's on a point system, so attend events, participate in the organization by doing so many things. And you have to hit so many points before you're an official caballero, and then during a mass at the cathedral, they'll actually knight you.
And are you one for life?
Yes. It is an organization where you do pay dues, similar to Elvis, etc. Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions? Yes.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Davidson Arellano. When I was Santa Fe Fiesta Queen in 1989, I was Elizabeth Davidson de Gutierrez to honor the maiden name of my mother. And I have my Fiesta Princesa with me, Roseanne Shreve, and we're here to just talk a little bit about our experience in the Santa Fe Fiesta Royal Court. And it was the most amazing, beautiful experience. And it carried on loving traditions from my family. My great aunt Puca Gonzalez was Fiesta Queen in 1945 and wore the beautiful original crown that's now housed in the Museum of Natural Folk Art. And my mother, Teresa Gutierrez, was Fiesta Princess in 1950. And my cousin, Carmela Pacheco Miera, was Fiesta Queen in the late 1970s. So I was so honored to carry on that beautiful tradition of my family. And also, I want to say that the fact that we're gathered here today, that we're still celebrating, is a testament to the power of that promise of De Vargas to Our Lady. The fact that we are here centuries later is awe-inspiring, and it's amazing. So I have to recognize the members of the Santa Fe Fiesta Council, the caballeros, everyone who tirelessly works year after year to put on beautiful, memorable celebrations for us. Their dedication allows this to continue, so they need to be recognized and thanked and celebrated. And so Our Lady, Nuestra Señora, es nuestra fe, nuestra base, nuestra amor, la conquistadora. Mil gracias.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm a little nervous here, but like Elizabeth said, I was one of her Spanish princesses in 1989. I had the great honor of participating with wonderful people such as Ed Berry. I don't know if you remember Ed Berry. He was part of the Fiesta. He was one of the part of the Santa Fe Fiesta Council. Sorry, may he rest in peace. Part of the other people that I can remember from the I think they used to call it like a Queen Committee, was Cora Archuleta. She was part of it, and Agnes Rivera, Vicky Gurulet, and Mariana. And those wonderful women that I can recall took care of us ladies. And of course, Ed Berry took care of the guys in the quadrilla. But it was a really wonderful moment. Of course, I've had such a lasting relationship with Elizabeth. We've been friends for many, many years. I know if any of you have participated as Don Diego de Vargas or La Reina or Princesa, we have really lasting relationships that grow forever. Some of the things that I found that were very inspirational and very close to my heart still today is Nuestra Señora de la Conquistadora. And all of you have a special place in your heart for her too, as I can recall a lot of you are saying that today. Participating, what I can remember is the novenas, the procesión, Corpus Christi church visitations, which were really great, to go to St. John's or the cathedral or St. Anne's. Visiting nursing homes, which I really loved as well. Visiting schools. We did have a packed schedule, which you will all know, but it was wonderful. Everybody got along. We were like a family, like a familia. That's how I thought it was. And that's what I could say about the Santa Fe Fiestas. So if you have people in your family, like young adults who are contemplating to run for Fiesta Queen or Don Diego de Vargas, I would highly recommend that, because it is our traditions and it's something that we need to keep going. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would like to thank Maria Montes Konek and Jim Baca for holding such a wonderful gathering here at the Fonda. My name is Diana Alvarez. I am the 1975 Fiesta Queen. It has been 50 years since this honor was bestowed upon me. When I was invited to this luncheon, it made me reflect back on that one year, 1975. What came to mind was the attention to detail that the Santa Fe Fiesta Council had put forth during my reign. It was amazing. They immediately introduced me to women who not only represented Santa Fe culture, but they instilled it was an immediate connection. They helped prepare me for every single event that I attended. These ladies taught me the importance of the role, why it mattered. Two women that come to mind with fondness and admiration are Josephine Bradshaw, who is no longer with us, and Barbara Cerna. These women, they instilled inclusion, dedication, and responsibility to carry the Fiesta's tradition forward with dignity and respect that has been established over the history of the Santa Fe Fiestas. It was not about me as Fiesta Queen. It was not about the Fiesta Court. It was about the importance of our roles as representatives of our community. And what an amazing community we have here in Santa Fe. Taught us our responsibility to maintain the values and the tradition in our ceremonies. And so in reflection, yes, I thank the Santa Fe Fiesta Council. They took me under their wings, and I really feel that I have carried those values with me for 50 years, and they have never failed me. So yes, thank you, Santa Fe Fiesta Council. In closing, I just want to thank you for the invitation. I want to thank my family for taking time out of their busy schedules to join me, Estelle, my sister Adrian, and my son Paul. So thank you very much, y que viva las fiestas.
We're going to start this. Before I begin, I'm not the only Don Diego de Vargas in this room. With us is also 2018 Don Diego de Vargas, Papi Trujillo. So, I'm Douglas Antonio Nava. I was Don Diego de Vargas for the years 2021 and 2022. Why 2 years? Because when COVID was coming out in 2021, the Fiesta Council said, what? We can be on the plaza? So they had a competition late August, and then we had competition. 5 days later, I was announced on the plaza because we had to be outdoors. 10 hours later, I was knighted in an empty cathedral with just a mask and my family and that, no one. But they did stream it online, and it was pretty exciting to say, more people probably watched me get knighted because at the time we knew how to just watch our phones and watch our TVs. And then my queen was Cristina Perea, who to this day is still my best friend. And so we were given the honor to be De Vargas and La Reina for 2022 so that we can experience the actual full summer. When it comes to Fiesta de Santa Fe, we honored Don Diego de Vargas, how it was promised, but one historical figure that is so important to this celebration was Capitan Juan Paez Hurtado. Capitan Juan Paez Hurtado was Don Diego de Vargas' right-hand man and best friend, and he was the one that remembered 12 years after de Vargas passed away that we needed to honor his best friend, and that's when he gathered the cabildo in one of the rooms, which is now the original Palace of the Governors, and that's when it was declared. Capitan Juan Paez Hurtado died on May 5th, 1742. And what I love more is on the day of his anniversary of his passing is also around the time when we announced the new Don Diego de Vargas. So I love the fact that they're still connected. Don Diego de Vargas died on April 8, 1704 in Bernalillo while out there to help stop the Apache attacks in the local Pueblo areas. He grew ill and passed away there. And so yeah, that's some little history with De Vargas and stuff. We've heard the name Connie Hernandez, we've heard Josephine Bradshaw, we've heard some wonderful names, Mariana Candelario, but one person that was such a pivotal person in our community was Don Pedro Ortega, who was probably a Voces member, right? Don Pedro Rivera Ortega is the longest reigning man to ever be the mayordomo, the man who's in charge of Our Lady. And I got involved with Fiesta de Santa Fe at the age of 21. And, you know, everybody knows I love the history. I'm the 8th one in my family since 1952 to be de Vargas or La Reina. First person was my Aunt Cristela Nodal y Romero. And then my cousin Linda Esquivel, and then my cousin Arturo Gourlet, and then on my dad's side, my uncle Bobby Lujan. Then after that, my cousin Danielle Chavez, then Brittany Romero, Hope Quintana, and then myself. So yes, it's in our blood and our family. We've heard a lot about Our Lady today. One thing I would love to make clear is the title of La Conquistadora. So many people for years have said, do they call her Our Lady because she helped help the Spanish conquer? No, she conquered our hearts. And that's something I keep doing. She conquered our hearts. And that's always something. And like Crystal mentioned, when Our Lady was restored, she just went through a restoration recently too. But when she went through restoration many years ago, they did find out, they went into the center of the statue because, when they put her through an X-ray machine, there's a hole that goes up her because she was carried into battle at one time. She has been saved. I mean, look at that. But when the wood was carbonated, it did come back that she was possibly almost 200 to 300 years old when she got here in 1625. And but we've heard so much about her clothing. If anybody here would ever love to gift something, I'm going to tell you this right now. Her little sister, the Pellegrina, only has 50-some outfits, and she's the one that probably needs the most. So we can't forget the other one who really needs the outfits, because here's the thing. There's so many people that want to gift La Conquistadora, but when you gift the Pellegrina, that outfit is probably worn the most compared to the brief time as that. So yes, for all of us that got to be Don Diego de Vargas, and Bobby can actually say, we get to have a uniform made for ourselves, which is gifted by the Caballeros de Vargas. And even to the queens, all of us that were de Vargas La Reina, the official outfit, we get to keep for life. And so when I was given the honor to be Don Diego, I knew it had to be special. So when I won for de Vargas, you know, I still had my grandmother, and her favorite color was purple. She couldn't get out that much. So she said, I'll pay for your uniform, but you gotta pick purple velvet. And I said, okay. I also chose the color purple because I'm a Pisces. And I also chose the color purple because it represents dementia. And I had recently lost 2 aunts to the disease, so I knew it had to represent. One of the greatest things though that was done for me is I'm a santero. And I was gifted an embroidered image. A gentleman by Ralph Ortiz, who owns what's the name of his business? Ortiz Printing, is such a devout to Our Lady. And he reached out to me and said, would you like something for the back of your cape? So I let my grandmother pick out the image, and on the back of my cape, I carried her name. And you heard earlier when we dressed her, well, that year, La Reina, Cristina Perea, and myself got to gift Our Lady, and my court got to gift the Pellegrina. So me and Cristina wanted to make sure that we connected with her. So that year, La Conquistadora wore a miniature replica of Cristina's white dress, and she wore a miniature replica of my cape. But on the back of her cape, I embroidered Jesus holding the rose. So I carry her, she carries her son, which was very special, which will also be on display. So yeah. And then I was all about clothes. I was one of those DeVargases that didn't want to be seen in the same shirt twice. So there's a lady in this town named Martha Ruiz who has been sewing for DeVargases and Reinas for years and years. And so a couple of weeks before the Royal Ball, I said, Martha, I said, I want a new shirt. You know, we all want a new shirt or a new outfit when we go out. So I said, I want something special. And she goes, what? I said, I just want something that represents DeVargas. And when I went, she made me a shirt where she hand cut the coat of arms of Don Diego de Vargas and all that stuff. So, because I was de Vargas at a time when cancel culture began in Santa Fe, when the statue was being removed and so forth. And I just made a promise that even though his image was taken from the plaza, he would be represented through his name and through his coat of arms. Every year for the last 20 years, I pay a mass at a church for DeVargas on his anniversary of April 17th. When I brought on my quadrilla, I made each of my men pay a mass to the man who they historically represented, because I told them, remember, all of us need to know that when we are at the royal court, especially the men, we're not Disneyland characters. We represent real men that walked in with Don Diego de Vargas. So I made a point to make sure that those people got masses paid for them. But the greatest thing that my queen and myself did during our reign, that I will always hold dearly, is together we brought on the first Spanish princess with Down syndrome who got to represent in the community. And it was that beautiful little lady, Andrea Lucci, that kept that court going. She was everything for us. And you know, to this day, she calls me once a week and she asks me, is it almost time for the Nestas and stuff? So yeah, I mean, we need to start bringing more inclusion and diversity. But yeah, if anybody here has a son or a daughter, come on, moms, you know you all want your daughters to be fiesta queens, so start putting the pressure. Because here's the sad thing, if we don't start coming back, it will end. It's not like it used to be. I'm not afraid to say that. We need that support from the community. Coming to this Voces Luncheon is fantastic, but it's just as fantastic when we fill the streets tomorrow for Our Lady. I saw a thing in the New Mexican a few years ago, you know, when it says 100 years ago today and stuff like that. One time there was a post that said, in, I forgot what year, 2,500 people walked the procession of Our Lady. We're lucky if we see 5 or 6. We gotta come back. We can't talk about being proud of our culture and our traditions if we just stop showing up. But yes, it's been an honor, and I have a few other things if anybody wants. When I was de Vargas, these coins of Don Diego de Vargas, I guess, came out like in the 70s when they used commemorative coins. And my uncle bought me one and he turned into a bracelet. And when I was Don Diego de Vargas, within the first 2 weeks after being announced, I received 120 cards in the mail of congratulations. I received rosaries, I received medals, because when you're Don Diego de Vargas, as Bobby can attest, people don't just look at us as royalty, they look at us as men that are continuing why we got to be in Santa Fe, because of a resettlement, you know? But, and to these beautiful Native women that are here, that's the honor when the members of the Pueblo community can stand with us to say there is peace amongst the cultures, despite what we see in the papers, despite what we see with statues and monuments being tumbled down. They're just pieces of concrete, but when we stand together holding hands, that's the bond. Through touch, that's the energy that it is. So with that, thank you for letting me be here, but to these 2 beautiful Native women, walk up to them today. Don't walk up to me and past queens and all of us and say, oh, it was so wonderful. Walk up to them, because they're the ones that are making sure that the peaceful promise of 1692 is more real, because that's the peace where it begins. months. Thank you.
Thank you all for showing up today. We appreciate it. And please remember to keep the faith. Thank you.